Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Girls Bond Together. So I actually didn't feel like recording today because I was in a bad mood and today just didn't go as planned. But I knew that if I just, got myself together, sat down, talked to you guys, I knew that I would feel a lot better. So yeah. So I'm actually really excited for this week's episode. I'm going to be talking about something that is very important to me, and I'm going to be talking all about self-love, the importance of self-love. So yeah, if you guys want to see a part 2 of this, please let me know, because I'm somebody who's just very passionate when it comes to this. So yeah, and there's so much I feel like to be said about self-love. So if you guys want to see part 2, please let me know. So yeah, so I'm just gonna honestly get right into this. So yeah, this episode might be a little short. I said that the last time and it ended up being like a whole 37 minutes because I talk so much, but it's going to be a pretty, short episode. So yeah. So without further ado, let's just get started. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys, I guess, is a little bit about my experience on like self-love, and I want to talk to you guys about the time that I guess I realized that self-love was something that I needed to work on. So yeah. Alright, so I'm somebody who's always just been like very insecure, about myself. I know that it's very normal. Excuse me. I know that it's very normal to have insecurities and things like that, but I just feel like I was just very insecure about myself. I always was, and I honestly still do this, but I do a lot of negative self-talk to myself, and I feel like I'm gonna talk to you guys all about self-talk and how important that is and how important it is for your mental health. But negative self-talk was something that I always did and I still do, but it's something that I'm working on. So yeah, but I'm somebody who was just always very insecure, especially when I was younger. I'm insecure about a lot of things, honestly, a lot of dumb things, but I'm trying to learn to kind of embrace those, insecurities, and not to be insecure, to be more confident. That's something that I'm definitely working towards. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, I'm just somebody who's always been insecure, especially like when I was younger. I used to even be like a little overweight, so that I think kind of set the tone of me being insecure, because I was insecure of myself, I was insecure of my weight, I didn't like the way that I looked. So yeah, to be honest with you, I'm gonna be 100% real with you guys, my body is still my biggest insecurity. It's something I'm still extremely insecure about, but it's something that I'm really trying to like fix and just get better at, and just loving my body, loving it for what it is, because you have to, you were born in that body, so you have to learn to love it. But I'll be honest with you, it's still like my biggest insecurity, my body. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, a lot of you girls, excuse me, I know a lot of you girls can relate. So yeah, I feel like also, I'm not gonna get too much into this, but I can do a whole episode if you guys want on like bodies, and how like I just feel like the society that we live in today, there's this like image of this body that every girl should have, and I don't know, I can just go on and on and on about that. If you guys want a whole episode on like just bodies and how like just kind of showing you guys how like that image affects us, how it affects me and everything, social media, the internet, how that affects how we think about ourselves and our bodies. If you guys want a whole episode on that, like body, self-confidence, all that, please let me know, because I can go on and on and on and on about that, because it's just crazy. So I feel like that also plays a part in my like insecurity towards my body. I feel like, I don't want to get into it too much, like I said, because I can do a whole episode, but I find that, a lot of times, like, we compare ourselves to other people, a lot of the times. So I feel like social media has put a big, like, impact on how I think about myself and how I think about my body. So, yeah, I definitely think that plays a part towards my insecurity towards my body, like I said a million times. So, yeah. But let me know if you guys want an episode on that. So, yeah, so that's how I knew that I wanted to work on my self-love, was that I was just always very insecure, especially when I was young. I don't think that I'm still insecure. Well, I don't think that I'm insecure, but I don't think I'm confident. I think I'm, like, in between. I feel like when I was younger, I used to be a lot more insecure because people used to, like, say things to me. Like, I used to be so sensitive. I want to give you guys an example. Alright, so let me see. I'm thinking of an example right now, but I don't know if it's a good example. Like, I know this is an example, but this isn't something that happened. Like, I know if somebody back then, when I say back then, like, if I was like 8 to 10 years old, if somebody were to say, "Oh my God, you have such a small face," that would instantly bother me. And that person's intent could have just been like, "Oh, like, wow, you have a really small face," and I could just, like, take it completely the wrong way and just feel down about it, and I'll be down about it for the whole day. Like, I'm really freaking sensitive. That's something that I really need to change, is I'm so sensitive. You could say one little bad thing about me and I will think about it literally for the rest of the day. Like, that is how bad it is. Like I said, I don't think I'm as bad as I was when I was younger, but, like, literally, like, it was bad. You can say one little thing and it's like, boom, I'd be mad for the rest of the day. But it is something that I'm honestly still working on, because I am very sensitive. And the fact that I'm sensitive is something that I never really like to admit. I always knew how sensitive I was, but it's something I never like to admit, because I always seen it as a weakness, but now I'm trying to see it as, like, a strength, because I feel like when you're sensitive, you obviously care. So, yeah, so those kind of things was, those little, insecurities, whatever. That's when I realized, all right, I need to work on my self-love. Sorry, I'm so off topic. This is supposed to be about self-love, and I'm talking about so many different things. But another time that I really realized that I need to work on self-love was I was in this club in high school my junior year. Don't ask me what it is, because everybody always asks me, like, what is that? Just don't ask me. But I was in this club. It's like the Metaphysics Club. That's what it was called. Or Metaphysical Club, whatever. Like, if you guys know about, like, the third eye, the chakras, like, meditation, it was something along those lines. If you don't, just don't even worry. So I was in that club, and there was this teacher who was the because when I was in high school, every club had a moderator, and the moderator was usually a teacher. So she was doing, like, a little activity with us, the moderator, teacher, whatever you want to call it. And this activity where I can't even, like, really explain it, but I think she had, like, some cards in her hands, and I had to close my eyes, and then I had to pick, like, I think 3 cards. And one of the cards was something about not loving myself, and then the 2 other cards were about something completely different. And she was like, which one of these do you think applies to you the most? And I said, not loving myself. And she was like, like, she just, like, nodded. And then she was like, but you're great, like, she was like, but you're great, like, I see that you have, like, such a good energy around you, like, you have such a calm, like, safe kind of energy, like, I'm just getting good energy from you. And when she told me that, I remember, like, I felt so good, like, I felt so good about myself. It was, like, crazy. Like, it's so crazy how like what other people say could really affect you, because when she told me that, like I like immediately just felt so good about myself. My confidence went from like 0 to 10 like so quickly. It was so crazy. But that was when I realized like I need to change that about myself. And yeah, I also have some other like reasons why I want to work on my self-love, but I'm not going to mention that. It's just a little personal, but I just wanted to say that. So yeah, but those were like some of the times that like I realized like, okay, self-love is important, you know, like that activity, me growing up and like just kind of being insecure. So yeah, so let me get onto some reasons why I think that self-love is so important. So I talked to you guys a little bit about my story and, you know, how I realized, you know, I guess like why, like I guess why I realized self-love is so important, you know, growing up insecure, the activity that I did at school. Those are the two times where I'm like, dang, like self-love is important. It's something that, you know, needs to be in my life. So yeah. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is, all right, so this is something that you guys have probably heard, so I'm just gonna reiterate it to you guys. Self-love is important because if you cannot love yourself, you can't love anyone else. I'm sure you guys have heard that like so many times, but I feel like it's very true. Like if you can't even love yourself, you can't even show yourself love, and you're very difficult on yourself, you're very hard on yourself. That's like a thing about me too. Like I'm so hard on myself and I hate that. Like we are our biggest critics, but it's like, don't worry, I'm gonna get into that later. But yeah, it's true. Like if you really cannot show yourself love, how can you love somebody else? You know, it just I feel like whenever I hear that, I'm like taken back, because it's so true. Like if I can't even love myself, how can I show somebody else love? How can I love somebody else if I don't even know how to do it to myself? So it's just something to like think about. So yeah, which is another reason why I wanted to practice this so much. So yeah, so I feel like learning how to love yourself and learning how to be okay with yourself is extremely important. All right, so the next one is loving yourself can't happen overnight. So this is something that I also learned. So yeah, so you can't like not love yourself one day and then boom, wake up tomorrow and be like, wow, I love myself. You know, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that. It's sort of like a practice. It takes time, for you to be completely, I guess, confident in yourself and to completely love yourself and completely be okay, you know, with yourself. It's a practice. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It could take you a couple days. It could take you a couple months. It could take you a couple years. It doesn't matter. There's no time frame on it. It just kind of happens, and you have to be like patient with it. And I feel like for everybody else, that process is different and that process looks different. So you just have to keep that in mind. Yeah, like when I told you guys that I'm really like not okay with my body, that is going to take me some time to be okay with it, to be fully okay with it, to fully accept it. You know, I can't just like not like my body one day and then boom, wake up tomorrow, boom, I love my body. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. So self-love is a practice. It takes practice. Like I said, it's a practice. It takes practice, and it's a lot of time. So and it's something I feel like you have to really be into. You have to really devote yourself into it. You have to be serious about it. So yeah, very important to keep in mind. Alright, so the next thing that's important, I'm going to be giving you guys, I guess, some tips on how to actually learn to love yourself, is find out things that you like about yourself. So this is very important. I feel like if you want to love yourself, you need to find those things that you love about yourself. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like physical features. It could be like, you know, characteristics, personality traits that you like about yourself. It could be physical too. Like, you need to, you know, embrace those physical features that you have and that you like about yourself. But also, maybe you don't really like a lot of physical things. Then you have your you know, your personality traits, your characteristics, maybe things that people don't see from the outside, but from the inside. So for example, I love my personality. You know, I think I have a great personality. I feel like I always try to be kind to everybody, and I always try to be good at everybody, and I just love my personality. I think I have a great personality. So yeah, that's like an example. So find stuff that you like about yourself, but not only find things that you love about yourself, embrace those things and constantly remind yourself of those things. Because if you constantly remind yourself of bad things you don't like about yourself, oh, I'm ugly, oh, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. First of all, you're none of those things. You're a bad bee, period. But yeah, first of all, you're none of those things. So I don't know why you're saying those things about yourself. But you need to not focus on things that you don't like about yourself. Because I don't know, like, if you've ever like said something bad about yourself and noticed how you felt after you said those words to yourself. Even if you say this thing in your mind, like, let me give you guys an example. Like, let's say I say, like, I'm lazy. Like, focus on your body. Where, like, if you say I'm lazy, let's just say that I say 3 things, right? I'm lazy, I'm ugly, I'm fat, nobody will ever love me. Even I just said those 4 things out loud, and I don't believe in any of those things that I just said. Maybe one of them I said I'm lazy, but I don't believe in any of those things that I just said. But I felt my body, and I felt how just me saying those 4 things, even though I don't believe those things about myself, how it impacted me. I immediately felt bad about myself. And that is what you are doing when you say those bad things about yourself. Nobody will ever love me. Nobody cares about me. I hate myself. Like, just me literally saying those things as an example to you guys, I feel bad about myself. I feel like I'm what's that big word? Deteriorating. I feel like I'm deteriorating myself. I'm trying to say a big word. I don't even know if I'm using it right. I feel like I'm lowering my self-esteem. I feel bad about myself just by saying those things. But yeah, like, just saying those things just automatically hurt me, automatically made me feel bad about myself. I didn't even get to self-talk yet. But yeah, that's my next topic, which I'm gonna get into. Just saying those things to yourself, it really hurts you. Even if you don't think so, you don't realize it, it does. But if I switch it around and I say positive things about myself, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm kind, I'm a good person, I automatically, just saying that, I automatically felt good about myself. Automatically, literally instantly, I felt good about myself. And those things I was gonna say those things don't have to be true. But maybe I said that I was beautiful and I didn't really believe it. The more I say it, the more I believe it. Ooh, I feel like I'm preaching. I don't know. Something just came over me in this episode. But nah, for real, like, even if you say things that maybe you don't believe that you're beautiful. Maybe you don't believe that you're strong. But when you keep saying it, you will end up believing it. I think there's like that saying, like, I don't know, I kind of believe, like, speaking things out into the universe, you know, it will happen, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm not making any sense, but, like, yeah. So just rewording how you speak to yourself is so important. Like, it is so important. So my next topic, which is what I already spoke to you guys about just now, is self-talk, positive talk. Self-talk is so important and is such a big step when it comes to loving yourself. You need to watch how you speak to yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you look at yourself in the mirror. There's a mirror and I just looked at myself, but how you see yourself, how you look at yourself in the mirror, how you view yourself is so important. The way you view yourself is how others will view you. If you believe that you're a bad bee, that you're confident, people will believe that as well. But you need to believe it before anybody else can. Oh my God, I'm preaching. Y'all, I'm loving this episode. Like, I'm literally so happy talking about this because it's something that I'm so passionate about. I said this episode was going to be short and it's 20 minutes. I'm such a liar. Anyways, let me continue. So, yeah, you have to believe in those things because nobody will believe in it but yourself. You cannot depend on somebody to make you feel pretty. You cannot depend on a guy to make you feel beautiful. So you need to believe that within yourself. You need to really believe that you're beautiful. And like I said before, this whole self-love stuff, it's a practice. It will take you time. It will not be an overnight step where you wake up one day and you automatically believe that you're beautiful. It will take time, but if you're willing to take the steps, you're willing to be patient, it will happen to you over time. But really pay attention to how you talk to yourself. And this might sound weird, but talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. These are some things that I like to do that help me with this self-love, that's helping me with the self-love process. So, one thing that I like to do, actually I don't do it, I'm lying, I don't do it, but I think it's like a cool thing, is to look at yourself in the mirror and say things that you like about yourself. Like, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm beautiful. Like, you know, I'm kind, I'm smart, I'm strong. Doing all that. You're automatically gonna make yourself feel good when you say those things and you look at yourself. You're looking at yourself. You're looking at God's creation. Okay, I'm gonna get into that later. I don't know how many of you guys are religious, but I'm like religious, so you're looking at God's creation, literally. He took the time to make you. I'm gonna talk about that later. And you need to look at yourself. Don't be shy. Like, there's some people, they literally cannot look at themselves in the mirror. No, embrace yourself. Embrace yourself. This is you. There's nobody else in this world except you. Can you believe that? There's nobody else in this world like you. Anytime I hear that story that God made me, okay, I'm skipping. All right, forget it. I'm gonna talk to y'all about that later. But literally, look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. Hold yourself. Hug yourself. I'm beautiful. I'm strong. I'm kind. I'm caring. You automatically flipped it. You automatically flip those bad things that you may, think about yourself. Like I said, you may not believe that you're beautiful, but the fact that you're just saying it, you're speaking it into existence, you will believe that you're beautiful. I promise you that you will, because you are, number one, but you will believe it if you keep saying it. I promise. So that's one thing you do. Look at yourself in the mirror, hold yourself, hug yourself. Another thing that I like to do is before I go to bed, I've been doing this for a while, I kind of stopped doing it, is there's this self-love affirmations video on YouTube, and it's of this woman saying all these like kind things like, you're beautiful, you're strong, you're this, and it's very calming and it's very soothing. I like to listen to it before I go to bed. I'm gonna do that tonight, but listen to it before you go to bed, and it's so soothing. Like, just having somebody in my ear saying I'm beautiful, I'm kind, I'm caring, I'm this, I'm that, like, that automatically makes me feel good. So that is very important. I'll put the link in the description of my podcast. This is also going to be going up on YouTube, so I'll put it in the description box down below as well. So yeah, but doing things like that, it's automatically going to help you, and it's going to help boost your self-esteem. So yeah, another thing that I like to do is I love listening to music. I love it. One of my professors kind of, told me about this, and I started doing it. Sometimes I like to just lock myself up in my basement or, my room or whatever, and I like to just blast music. And I like to blast music that makes me feel like a bad bee, and I just automatically feel better. I could be having a bad day, but I'm blasting my music, and boom, I automatically feel good about myself. So little things like that. And not only is this on my list, hold on, do things that you like to do. If you do things that you like to do, especially if you find something that you really enjoy doing on your own, whatever that is, it could be listening to music, it could be watching a certain show, it could be working out, maybe you like to go out for walks. When you find that me time, when you find things that you like about yourself, that's just gonna help you feel so much better about yourself. And it's gonna help you to love yourself so much more, because you're hanging out with yourself, kind of. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you're kind of like hanging out with yourself. You're spending time with yourself. The more you spend time with yourself and you're in isolation and all that, you're gonna learn so much more about yourself. And I've learned so much about myself within the last year or two, because I was, stuck in the house. So when you're by yourself all the time, you're in consolidation, all that, you are going to eventually learn to love that time with yourself. And you time, me time, all that is so important. Try not to be around people 24/7. And I want you guys to also gain the confidence where you don't need to be around people, because there are people who are literally like that. They have to be around people 24/7. If they're not around a certain person for 5 minutes, they immediately get lonely and they need attention. And that's honestly really toxic if you're like that. You need to be able to embrace that time. Not only embrace that time, but embrace that time with yourself. Because if you cannot be by yourself, it's a problem. It's a literal problem. So that's why I said finding things that you like to do with yourself is extremely important. Because God forbid you're in a situation where you need to be by yourself. You need to be all alone. Nobody. You need to be by yourself. You're not going to be able to survive. So being by yourself is extremely important. But not only being by yourself, doing things by yourself is also important, if that makes sense. Alright, so I was talking about this a little bit earlier. God made you in his image and his liking. You're special. So this is very important to know. I think you guys know this, but God literally took his time and made you in his image. There's nobody in this world like you. Can you believe that? There's nobody in this world like you. There are people that look like you, maybe, have, same personality traits, characteristics, but there's literally nobody like you. You listening to this. That's crazy. That's literally crazy. Whenever I hear that story, that God literally made me in his image, and that there's nobody on this earth like me, there's nobody on this earth that looks like me, that talks like me, that's insane. I'm unique. That's crazy. Yes, you might have a family member that looks like you, whatever, but there's something different about each person. Even with twins, the difference in personality traits, certain things they do, maybe it's the way they talk, whatever. There's something different about each person, and you need to know that. You need to embrace that. I don't know how many of you guys, believe in God or whatever, but I believe in God, and just knowing that makes me feel so good that there's literally nobody on this earth like me. It's so crazy. So crazy. I'm going to stand up for the rest of this episode, if you guys don't mind. But you guys can't see me, so it don't matter. But yeah, so it's just crazy to know that you're special. So just, remind yourself about that. Alright, so the next thing that I want to talk about is when you love yourself, you'll gain confidence and won't settle for less. So I think that this is true. I think that somebody who is maybe not confident and, somebody who lacks self-love, somebody who lacks confidence, they're most likely to settle for less. Because somebody who loves themselves, somebody who knows their worth, and somebody who knows that they're worth literally everything, they're worth that perfect guy, or that guy is worth literally the perfect girl, they're not going to settle for less. You know, if a guy is treating them bad, they will not settle for less. So I think that's very important to know. And I think that statement is very true, because I always hear people saying, like, if you love yourself, you won't settle for less. So it's very important also to not settle for less as well, because there's so many people out there. So yeah, but just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna read that one more time. When you love yourself, you'll gain confidence and you will not settle for less. Alright, so the next one has to do with what I was saying before with the self-talk, but having many conversations with yourself. People might look at you, might think you're crazy, but I don't know, maybe not like full blown out conversations, but I don't know, maybe like just talking to yourself, saying like good things about yourself, talking to yourself about things that you like. Talking to yourself about things that you like about yourself is important. Having many conversations with yourself is fine, normal. So it's important, like I said before. So this is very important to me, but you need to have self-love, but when you also love yourself, it's not only just the inside, because I know I've been talking more towards the inside, but when you take care of yourself, that is so important. When you eat healthy and you exercise and you do all that, you watch your diet, you watch what you eat, it's so helpful. Like, that honestly, I think interferes with your mental health as well. You might not realize it, but I feel like if you're eating a lot of bad things, you could also feel bad about yourself. But if you eat good things about yourself, you'll feel good about yourself. I don't know what I just said, but what I was trying to say, like, when you eat good things, you'll feel good about yourself. I know sometimes I'll eat a salad and I'll feel great. I'll eat McDonald's, I feel like crap, yeah, because I was eating crap, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that stuff really helps with your mental health. So taking care of yourself physically, working out, eating right, getting your body in shape is super important. Not only in that aspect, doing your hair, getting your hair done, taking care of your skin, making sure you ain't got no bumps, no pimples, nothing. Taking care of your nails, getting your feet done, all that. That is so important, because I promise you, when you take care of yourself and you look good, nobody can stop you, and that's on period, you know what I'm saying? Because I know sometimes, like, I'll get my hair done and it's like nobody can tell me a thing. Like, nobody can tell me nothing. Like, I just feel so good about myself. So doing things that you like, physically to yourself, maybe getting your makeup done, getting your hair done, and doing all that, and you do it for yourself, is important. Make sure that these things that I said, that you're not doing that for this certain somebody, that you're not doing this to please your parents, your friends, your siblings. You're doing this for yourself, okay? I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that later on. So yeah, another thing that I want to say is, when you love yourself, other people will notice. When you love yourself, you're gonna have this new light, this new way about you. People are gonna be like, who is this person? Because you changed. You love yourself, and you're gonna have this light, like, just shining on you. You're gonna be glowing. You're literally just gonna be glowing, and people are gonna be like, dang, like, she looks good. Look, everything looks good about her. Like, dang, like, when you walk into a room, everybody's gonna notice you. And when I say everybody is going to notice you, because you love yourself. Okay, when you love yourself, it radiates throughout the whole room. Okay, so loving yourself is very important, and other people will notice, I promise you. But you don't want to start loving yourself so other people will notice. You want to love yourself for you. Next thing that I wrote is gain confidence. Don't be cocky. So I think with loving yourself, it has to, like, go in with confidence. So when you love yourself, be confident, but don't be cocky. Next thing is be selfish. be selfish with yourself. I think with loving yourself, it kind of forces you to be a little cocky and be like, okay, dang, I have to do things for myself now, that kind of mentality. So yeah, but it's important, you need to I think sometimes you need to put yourself before others. So yeah, because at the end of the day, the only person that you have is you, not anybody else. You have you at the end of the day. You don't have nobody else. So you need to make sure that you take care of yourself. So yeah. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk about is you need to be yourself and do things only for yourself. So this is very important. I think that if you love yourself, you will always truly be yourself. You're always going to do things for yourself. Now, when I say do things for yourself, don't do anything just to please anybody. Don't do certain things just because of somebody else, or just because he likes it, I'm gonna do it. I'm trying to please him. No. If that person really loves you, they won't let you suffer in doing something that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever just do things for other people, because it will not work out. You're never gonna be truly happy. You're always gonna find yourself maybe acting and putting on this face, and you're never gonna be truly happy. There's always gonna be this feeling inside you that's I'm not happy. I'm forcing myself to feel a certain way about something that I don't even like. You know what I'm saying? You need to do things only for yourself, and do things that you like. There's millions of things out there, so do things that you like. Find things that you like to do, no matter what it is. So yeah. Alright, so I've talked y'all's ears off about self-love and the importance of self-love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So yeah, I can't believe that I was contemplating not even filming this week, and I was also contemplating just not even filming this episode about self-love at all, because I had another episode planned out for this week, but it just didn't happen. So I decided to do this, and I think that this was a great topic. I really enjoyed talking about this. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see maybe a part 2 on maybe something specific about self-love. I am still on this journey, self-love. I'm not no expert, but I just want to give you guys my tips. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye guys.